that's where I, in the park when I was running in the same running group, I found Ramesh, and then we started thinking about this problem where we were throwing away so many shoes, they were going to landfills, and so just as a project we collaborated upon it and made a single pair of shoe.
Welcome to Mindful Businesses, presented by Sarani, and I'm your host Vidya Iyer. In our podcast, we bring to you brands which are mindful in their practices and processes. A mindful business adopts and employs sustainable social, economic, and environmental practices. Today we have with us an extremely enterprising and creative sustainable brand from Mumbai, India. We have with us in our studio Shreyans Bhandari, co-founder of Green Soul, recycling shoes as a step towards sustainability. Welcome, Shreyans.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
Tell our listeners a little history about a sneaker. Sneakers have become fashionable, I want to say, in the last 35, 40 years. Before that, what was the footwear that most people wore for athletic purposes, and how did the sneakers evolve?
I think sneakers majorly started from athletics. It was mostly spikes, and I think there were two German companies, Adidas and Nike is a US company. So both of these companies, they started making athletic shoes, then they shifted to sneakers, and then it became like a trend and everyone started having sneakers. There are many more companies now. I think globally around 20 billion footwear are overall made every year because of fast fashion, because people wear footwear for some amount of time, then they throw it away. Like sneakers, there's no problem with that. But the problem is fast fashion, where there's so many footwear, and making each pair of footwear is very environmentally intensive. A lot of chemical processing involved. So I think that is where the problem is, and that is what we at Green Soul are doing now. We are trying to upcycle them and then giving them a second life. But ideally, what could have been done earlier when this boom happened was making them eco-friendly right at the first place. What we are doing is upcycling, which is the second step. But the main thing will be when all the footwear will be biodegradable.
80s, we had the simple canvas shoe, which we wore for multiple sports, right? From playing tennis, badminton, running, in your gym classes, physical training classes in school. But now sneakers are there in every walk of your life. Like when I'm in an airport, I am constantly looking at people's shoes.
Right.
And almost everyone, I would say 90% of the people are wearing sneakers. What brought about that big change? Even from the transition from athletic wear to now everyday comfort wear. What brought that transition?
I think it's consumerism, comfort, marketing, and big corporations coming up. And also the industrial revolution that happened, which was we were able to mass produce everything, and which was the major reason for the environmental damage that we see today. And what we'll have to do is kind of reverse it. We'll have to go back to sneakers which are made from a single material, so that they can be easily recycled and upcycled. So it was sort of a shift that happened in everything, and sneaker was a part of it.
So do you think these sneakers actually need to be different? Like, do I need a different pair for tennis and then a different pair for running and different pair for walking? Or is it just all marketing?
You do need a different pair.
Why would I need a different pair?
Like in athletics, you need more cushion. In tennis, you need like a harder sole. So a different shoe is definitely needed. But what could be done is single material in all these shoes, and that also biodegradable.
So how many sneakers are sold worldwide and in India? You mentioned a figure for footwear. Was that all footwear or just sneakers?
All footwear, entire world. That was the 20 billion number.
And for sneakers?
Sneakers, I'm not sure of the exact number.
When you say you wanted a single material sneaker, what are the different materials used in a traditional sneaker?
Plastic, rubber, EVA, PU, a lot of materials which are very good properties for cushioning and other things, but environmentally not as friendly.
Mostly they are petroleum-derived materials.
Right.
So in the Bombay context, in the Mumbai and the India context, I feel there are a lot more people who are running now, who are more into physical fitness, the half marathons, the full marathons are a big deal. Are these promoted by the sneaker companies? Is it a marketing thing, a push towards people doing that, or is it just general awareness and health consciousness?
Marathons are for fitness, and footwear that you're buying, that's the want which is created. So I think marathons are for fitness.
So how many sneakers go to the landfill?
I don't have the exact figure, but as per the data that we found online, about 350 million pairs in US alone go to landfills.
In India, how many? Do you have an idea?
There's no data about it.
So how do you collect these sneakers now?
So what we do is we have collection centers all over the country, which is run by volunteers, and they collect footwear and send it to us in Mumbai and Jharkhand. We also have corporates who collect footwear from their employees, and then there are some footwear companies who have reject defects which they give to us for upcycling. So there's a lot of availability of footwear.
So how do you make the new shoes? How do you break it apart? Tell me the journey of Green Sole sneaker.
We are actually transforming the old pair of shoes, slipper, whatever formal pair it is, into a standard pair of slipper. We definitely use the sole of the slipper. We have a process to standardize the sizes, whether it's a sport shoe or a slipper, or every brand has a different sizing pattern. So we have a pattern to standardize the sizes, and then we use the sole. We use whatever is usable in the upper, like laces are sometimes woven and made into uppers, and footbeds. So footwear is basically the sole and the upper part. So the sole comes from the old shoe, the upper part comes from industrial waste which could have been burnt off. So we recollect that and both these things together. And it's a semi-automated process. The first step is manually segregating. Some footwear are really good, some soles are bad. And then there's a process where, which is our patented, where we have really figured out how standardized way it can be scaled up and upcycled. And then we basically combine the sole and some old parts from it and new parts also to make a slipper.
So how do you separate, like the sneaker is this product which has multi-layers. So it's not one piece, like the sole, the midsole, the insole, the upper, the lining of the upper, the laces, and you have some leather and you may have some other nylon material. So there are many materials. So you take them all apart and sort them, or how do you do it?
No, we are not into recycling. What we do is we just cut out the upper and sole and then utilize both of them separately. Doesn't matter to us whether it's leather or it's a sport shoe.
So how do you make it look good? How do you design it?
This is a standardized design that our designers have come up with, and the beauty is every pair looks different, but the uppers are standardized.
So how are you able to scale? Because if it's just so much variability in your raw material input, how are you able to scale and like put it online and say, I'm going to sell you this shoe or a slipper and this is what it will look like?
So there are two business models. One is CSR and recycling that we are doing for companies. There every sole is different. Upper is same, so we go and donate it to children. What we sell online is partly recycled. What we've done there is a vegan range which is sustainable and has newer but biodegradable materials like cotton, textile, pineapple, mushroom, those kind of alternate materials which are there. And just by buying a pair, someone is supporting the environment, and this is a brand which supports recycling and social good. So that's what Green Sole is about.
How did you come up with this idea with your co-founder, and what is your co-founder's name?
Ramesh Dhame. I'm actually from a business family, and I did my undergraduate from Jai Hind College, Mumbai. That's where I, in the park when I was running in the same running group, I found Ramesh, and then we started thinking about this problem where we were throwing away so many shoes, they were going to landfills, and so just as a project we collaborated upon it and made a single pair of shoe. Then later on we won some business plan competitions, and then CSR came up. Government had just launched it, so a lot of companies sponsored us, and it's growing by the year. And then we got into retail also and alternate materials. So the two things that we do is we want to make 100% biodegradable shoe so that it doesn't harm the environment, and the shoes which are not biodegradable we want to upcycle and donate them. So that's the purpose of the company.
Elaborate what are the CSR incentives that the Indian government gave to the companies, corporations in India?
So all the corporations which have a turnover of I think around 5,000 crores, they have to donate 2% of the net profit under CSR.
Okay, 5,000 crores is how many million rupees?
Around $1 billion.
So any company which has a revenue of over $1 billion has to set aside
2% of the net profit for CSR. And this act came in 2013 when we also launched our company. So it's a good initiative. I think a lot of NGOs have come up. Now we need more social ventures who can actually properly utilize this kind of fund and make impact in India.
So you give back to children and individuals who do not even own a pair of shoes. How many such barefoot individuals are there in India?
India has around 6 lakh villages. 600,000 villages are there in India. And as an estimate, there should be about 300 million children in India which are without footwear. And so far we have touched a very small number. Around we'll be reaching around 500,000 pairs soon.
And what is your goal? What are your targets? And have you been reaching those targets?
So we've been going block by block, and eventually we'll be able to provide these footwear. But more important is the skill centers that we are coming up with, because we want to create an infra. So instead of upcycling only in Mumbai or Jharkhand, we want to upcycle pan-India. And these skill centers will be run by women whom we'll skill in this upcycling process, so that anyone who wants to repair their footwear, it can be locally upcycled, repaired, and so on. So not just donation, but upcycling, which is economic good, social good, which is donating, and then environmental good, which is our prevention of old shoes going into landfills.
So you're hitting all the targets of a mindful business. Like what I said in my preamble, mindful business adopts social, economic, and environmental practices.
All three.
Yes. Yeah. Assuming they have a fair living wage, your employees, good working conditions. So how do you assure raw material supply? Because this is donation, right? So and it's volunteer based. How do you assure raw material supply?
We actually have to manage all these three things, which is data collection, people who need footwear, then amount of shoe collection, and the amount of sponsorship. So we do have mismatches at times. Like at times we have too many shoes, not enough funds. But then we put them on hold, then go for more funds. And our word has been spreading regularly. We've been in the media, so people know about us. And it spreads by the word of mouth. So every year we have more number of shoes, more number of funds. So far we have been in balance.
So how many pairs do you recycle in a year?
Every year we are recycling double the number of pairs. This year we'll be recycling about 200,000 pairs of old shoes.
So then what about the packaging that you use for the shoes and the slippers you donate and the new shoes?
So what we donate, they are big cartons, so slippers are packed in bulk. There's hardly any packaging involved there. In commercial sales, what we sell to customers and through retail, there's a proper packaging, but there's no plastic use. Mostly recycled cardboard, paper.
So during my visit here, I've been literally bombarded with socially and environmentally sustainable brands. I don't have enough time, to go through so many requests that I am getting now. How much do you think it is people and awareness, and how much do you think is the government, like two government policies in particular, the CSR set-asides that companies with revenue over $1 billion have to do, and the second is the plastic ban? How much do you think is people who have now decided enough is enough and we have to do good to the environment and the people and the society? And how much do you think it's the government which is nudging people to do this?
Both are equally important, but I think everyone has now come to a realization that next 50 years can't be the same way what we have, the kind of consumption we have got used to. So customers' patterns are also changing. They are trying to prefer things which are social and environmentally slowly. and they're trying to reduce the waste. Government also is helping them out in the Swachh Bharat campaign and all the different initiatives that have done. Also creates a sort of conducive environment which motivates citizens. So both are going hand in hand, and more than India, it's more of a global movement. So we'll see more and more companies coming up in this sector and becoming big, and also the bigger companies, all of them shifting in this direction of sustainability.
So you said you took part in some business competition. So did you get VC funding or was it self-funded?
We got just some seed capital, about $10,000 when we were in the first year from these competitions. There you don't have to give any equity, it's like a grant. And then we got a strategic partner, Ram Fashion Exports, which it's one of the biggest exporters of footwear in India. So that gives us the back-end strength, office, warehouse, which we've been utilizing for 5 years now. And we are growing at about more than 100% every year in both commercial and social aspect. And in next few years, we may get VC funding also.
And what would you need that VC funding for?
For expanding the brand, new technology, research, R&D on newer materials and more efficient ways to upcycle.
So the footwear industry is still fairly labor intensive. How much of yours is labor intensive, or do you have machines which do quite a bit of the work, or is it fairly labor intensive?
Footwear is an industry where like if you have a soda bottle, you can just press a button and you have the thing bottled up. No labor required. But footwear is an industry, no matter how big a company you run, at least 20% will be has to be manual. So that will remain. But what we can do is grinding out the waste materials and combining it together. Those kind of things can only be done by machines which are not currently present. We have to make those kind of machines.
So the sneakers that you receive, is there any residual raw materials which you then give it to somebody else?
We ourselves want to make different things out of it, like a mat or something from the 10% waste that we also generate from the old shoe. So that's a work in progress.
How do you find these organizations where you donate? How do you find them? What is the criteria that you have to donate these shoes to children and individuals?
We donate to rural schools in India, pan-India. There are a lot of government schools which are there. And in every region, we have found a volunteer who manages that region, gives us data which we verify, and then go and do these donation drives. And we're only looking at children when it comes to donating footwear, because for adults, we feel they can earn an income. So we want to involve them in our skill central model rather than our direct free donation. And for children, it helps them in education. Like they have to walk to schools from long distances. They have to go through rough terrain, maybe snakes, whatever. So footwear really helps them go to schools in a better manner.
Your upcycle shoes are reasonably priced at about 1,500 rupees, which is about $21 in today's exchange rate. Most sustainable brands tend to price their products much, much higher. One thing is that part of sustainability is you wear the shoe for a longer time. And if I buy a more expensive shoe, I will first probably wear it for a longer time, take better care of it, and also repair it than throw it and buy another shoe. So at $21, I'm glad you have it at a low price, but does it make it more disposable?
So what we're trying to do, we'll have more expensive shoes also. And we have shoes which are $3 also, which is actually donated. And then we have this $21. So we are tapping all the categories so that everyone can have a recycled pair of footwear. And our idea is, even if you dispose it off, it shouldn't, like either it should be upcycled and given away, or it should not harm the environment.
I'm glad the shoes are affordable, because I do think that every income should have the access to a sustainable shoe. But the mindset, again, sometimes people do not appreciate things which they don't pay a lot for.
So with our newer materials, we'll have shoes which will be around $60-70 also.
Do you plan to enter the international market?
Yeah, we've already initiated the process of entering the US market. And we should be in a few of the retail outlets in US this year itself.
So how do you test your shoes for comfort, durability and fit?
It's a standard process what a new pair of shoe goes through.
And which is?
Which is tensile strength, and there's a certification that you have to obtain, especially if you're exporting.
So where can one buy a pair of green sole shoes?
So we have our website.
What are the products you upcycle and make?
So we make shoes, sneakers, slippers, keychains, and even t-shirts, which are not upcycled but organic cotton material. So we have a wide variety. We are a footwear company, and slowly we may get into apparel and other things, but our core will remain recycling. And all of these are available on greensole.in and .us, and also on Amazon and other e-commerce channels, and some few selected offline stores also.
And how does a rural school reach out to you for donations?
We reach out to them, and we get the data through our volunteers, which we verify and then physically go there and donate footwear. So it's a tedious process. You have to collect the sizes, verify the data, and then go and donate. So we have a team who's regularly in search of newer places and the right places to donate.
Have you heard of Agastya Foundation in South India?
Yeah, briefly I've.
They run a very good rural education program. I spent some time volunteering there. And
maybe people who are working with schools especially, we can connect with them and they can give us the data more easily.
Thank you, Shreyans, for coming on Mindful Businesses. Your story is very, very inspiring. All the best to you.
Thank you.
If you're a creator of a mindful brand or would like to recommend a mindful brand to be featured on our show, send us a message on our Facebook or Instagram page. We recorded this podcast at Radio Vani Studios in Mumbai, India. Tatum Gale composed the music for this podcast. This is Vidya Iyer for Mindful Businesses.